tonight we've got a 1990s New York City dominatrix dungeon documentary directed by Nick Bromfield. Listener discretion advised. RickRamos, Fetishes from 1996. What say you?
I didn't know what to expect going into this. I was familiar with Nick Bromfield through some of the episodes that we've done over the years, the Kurt and Courtney episode, the Heidi Fly's Hollywood Madam episode. But I didn't know what this was going to be. And you sent me a link to it. When you start the thing, and then boom, that HBO America Undercover thing comes up right from the get-go. And all of a sudden I'm transported to probably 92, 93. I don't know when this film was made, but I go back in time at this point. Because I don't know if you remember it, but in the mid-90s, in the early 90s, HBO was this... At first, it was just a place for movies to run after their theatrical run. It was this big deal that your average family was going to be able to watch a movie that they saw on the big screen in their house, and it was like a kind of a liberation of having things brought to you. It was streaming before streaming, but like very limited streaming. Then HBO branched out and they started making shitty sitcoms like there was one called First and 10 about football. There was one called Dream On. It was a workplace not a workplace comedy, but a comedy about a man who his thoughts were delivered in scenes from classic television. But the thing that really captured the public's attention in the early 90s was two reality type projects. One was called Taxi Cab Confessions, where they would set up cameras in New York City cabs, and these people would get into all kinds of craziness in the backseat of cabs, but then they would start talking to the cab driver, and so it was like an unveiling. It was so new and so raw that you were capturing something. It was way before MTV would take that ball and run with The Real World and Jersey Shore and all those other fucking shows that they did, and basically killed their network. After Taxi Cab Confessions, there was another series called America Undercover. It's a long way to go, but I'm painting a picture. And America Undercover was kind of... It carried itself like serious journalism. Serious documentary films that went into different worlds. One of them was, I think, the prison system. One of them was juvenile system, foster homes. And then there was this, an exploration of BDSM and the world of dominatrixes, submissives, slaves, and that kind of thing. And it really opened up to... There's something fascinating about subcultures that really grabs a hold of the rest of us who are either interested in something that is outside of our experience or something that we want to try, but don't know how to, don't know what it actually is. Watching this film, at first I thought, this is going to be really interesting because it's going to go, you're going to find out what makes this world and who the people are that run it and partake in it. And there are glimpses of that throughout the hour and so many minutes that this documentary covers. But ultimately, I feel like it only hints at it because the people that are involved and profiled, namely the dominatrixes, seem very much performative. And there's only a handful of times where they actually feel like they're speaking honestly about their lives and what the work they do is, what it's about, and what it's supposed to mean. The documentary is itself kind of salacious and I think exploitative, but you can go into great depth with that, and you can discover things. Ultimately, I don't think Broomfield's documentary does anything to help me understand this world any better. But maybe I'm not, maybe I'm missing it. So I'm interested in what the next hour-long conversation is going to be, because I'm curious as to what you pulled out of it. What did you see? What did I miss? Or am I right in the criticisms that I'm gonna put out there concerning this film? So, that being that, what is your relationship? What is your relationship to this film? How did you discover it? Did you know about it? What was it about it that pulled you in?
What we've been talking about, we've been weaving between neo-noir and the femme fatale and the dominatrix and the fetish, and subculture. You said subculture, and I say subculture, pun intended, like subculture, right? This film, I knew about Bromfield because I had first seen Kurt and Courtney in '98, or thereabouts, when it came out. I rented it, and it was about the death of Kurt Cobain and that relationship with Courtney Love, and what's her, the rumors about all of that, and what's her relationship to his death, and blah blah. And we did that back in 2018. It's episode 175, if you're interested. So I had seen that, and then I watched. I think I rented this. So I'd seen this, and I rented the Heidi Fleiss one, which we did an episode, like you said. We mentioned that in the Pimp episode, which was episode 161 from 2018. Then I saw the Biggie and Tupac one, which we haven't talked about. Biggie and Tupac yet. There's stuff to talk about there. And then I saw the Eileen Wuornos docs that he had done. And he's done like he did one that was related to Leonard Cohen. I haven't seen that. So I remember when we talked about, when we did the Heidi Fleiss one, you were like, watching this made me feel dirty.
Yeah.
And there is a sleazy kind of, like you say, salacious kind of element, I think, that comes with, although he himself isn't sleazy, there's something about the Gonzo style. He has this Gonzo directorial style where he just carries the boom mic and someone else is just shooting the documentary, and he's very much in the documentary, asking questions, but he'll be on camera, and the process of making the film can either lead to insight a lot of times because he's frustrating the people he's asking questions of. It just becomes, especially with like Eileen Wuornos, it became part of it, the kind of the bureaucracy of trying to get the documentary made and with the legal system and shit like that. With this, I don't know if that's it adds to like a degree of separation that you have from these people. And so it adds to a tabloid kind of like look at it. Which I on one hand, I guess it depends on how you want to, if you want to really understand about these people, yeah, what we need is something that's coming from the inside. We need something made by someone who is a practitioner, someone who's part of this world.
Yeah.
So that they can say, this is my fucking world and this is my tribe. And even though that would just be one person speaking their version of shit, like, they would probably have access to other people that would be willing to talk about it to really like, get into it. So this kind of suffers from a little bit of the, William Friedkin cruising, like,
sure.
Is it just a walkthrough? You know, this is like a walkthrough of the dungeon, you know? And HBO approached Nick Bromfield about a doc, and originally it was going to be like, San Francisco, LA, New York, Tokyo. And then he found this place, this high-end place in New York City called Pandora's Box, run by a woman that goes by Mistress Raven. And he goes in and he starts, you know, he's interviewing, he's there, he's, you know, he kind of plays this, with quotes like naive, documentarian that just kind of like shoots first and asks questions later, so to speak. And people get pissed off. They're like, don't fucking record here, don't do this and that. It's a series of interactions and interviews with mistresses, dominatrixes, some of their clients. We've talked about this, a lot of Wall Street men who are that same idea of men who are in control all day, and they want to flip that switch off, and they want to do the power exchange, and they want to give up their power. They want to hand responsibility over to someone else for a while. And we get some of that, and I do like the sleaze element too. And there are moments that I thought we'll get to those moments where I was laughing my ass off because I'd forgotten about those ridiculous moments. I'd forgotten. I know you weren't expecting to see full frontal male nudity, or like dudes getting their fucking dicks fucking swatted and stuff like that. But that's what you get. Not what you get, but you know, that's what one gets when one watches this movie. I'm not like, that's what you get, Rick. But it does still feel very much by nature of the fact that it is being recorded the way it is. It's like, yeah, you're now, this is a performance. And even the ending, I'm of two minds about, because the way it, there's no real like conclusions drawn. There's no kind of necessarily like deep insight drawn from it. It's just kind of like, it's just a walk through that world. And at the end, there is a moment that seems, it's somewhat cheesy and it's silly, where they're surrounding Broomfield, and they've been trying to get him to do a session with them so he'll understand. And in those interactions, Mistress Raven does raise good points, because she's like, if you really want to like understand some of this, you should experience something about the documentary that you're actually making. And she's like being real, but she's also being a bitch, but like on purpose.
Yeah.
She revels in that character. And she's really like, I wanted to know more about her because she was really interesting. But she also remains like somewhat mysterious throughout the film. And so by the end, they get taken to a certain room, and they're like acting like they want to tie him up, and then they're just like kind of like lightly whipping him, and he's just kind of climbing away or whatever, and it's kind of stupid, but at the same time, the thing that I thought was interesting about it is that was although they're putting on this thing for the camera to like flip the tables on him, but they're also doing it for the movie. There was something about it that felt it humanized them. In that they were like they're being playful, they're just being stupid. They're not just these like leather bound Nurse Ratchet fucking dominatrixes. You know what I mean? And there was something girlish about it too. And it was like fun. So I thought it was interesting. I just wonder what would it have been like had he actually done some of that, or the idea of he says, "Well, I don't like pain," and she's like, "Have you not fucking been listening to anything I've said? Like, this is not just about pain." She's like, "This is about a whole process. This is psychology. This is a whole power exchange. This is it's seductive. It doesn't have to only be." She's like, "Pain is only one element of this whole thing, but you clearly weren't paying attention, Nick."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." But aside from those, I guess, misses, I feel like as an introduction, if you discuss like, okay, like when we talked about dogs don't wear pants, and we say, well, he wanders into a dungeon, a BDSM dungeon, someone's gonna go like, okay, well, what the fuck is a BD? I mean, I understand like the concept, but I can't picture that in my head. This is a documentary that will give you those views of what it's like to, okay, someone calls, this is the 90s, someone's calling in, they're going in the fucking white pages or whatever, and they go in the 90s, looking through that listing, and they call, and this French woman answers, and she's like, "Are you into the humiliation?" Blah blah blah, and then she's like, "You want to be dominated, and you want to be verbally abused, whatever." And then they book their thing, and there are all these different rooms. There's like a dungeon room. There is something that looks more opulent, more like bordello type of thing. There's a medical looking room. And they do all these different scenarios. They do rubber fetishism. They do like mummification, where people are like wrapped. They do infantilism, where people they're treated like babies.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
That was a really interesting, and it was I kind of enjoyed the theatricality of it, because the commitment to it too. Because it's like, no, you have to believe in this moment in order for it to be gratifying. It has to be this thing where this guy is acting like a little girl, and the dominatrix has to like basically teach him the way you teach little girls about anything. And then she's teaching the little girl about, the dominatrix is teaching the little girl about a period, and she's like, yeah, because that's what big girls get. Big girls get periods, and sometimes periods hurt. What do you? And then the dude as a little girl like giggles, and she's like, well, "What do you think's so funny about that?" And it's this whole performance. So it was interesting to be like a fly on the wall for that. So there's infantilism and feminization. There's masochism. There's wrestling. There's a part where this dominatrix gets super pissed off because they screen all these men, but sometimes
Slip through. Yeah.
They slip through, exactly. They slip through those cracks. Well, this dude came with his wife, and he wants to wrestle, but he just takes her down real quick. So then
he wants to Andy Kaufman her for that,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he gets upset because, and you can't really see what exactly is going on, and then you realize she's biting him, and he gets, I didn't sign up for this shit. I didn't sign up to be abused, and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is? Okay, let me say something first of all. Is like, because I was thinking about this before. I was thinking about different ways to approach this conversation, and typically you hear people say, as far as I'm concerned, whatever two consenting adults do to and with each other is fine with me. And you know what? It's kind of weird because listening to that, as I've heard it so many times, I finally realized it doesn't fucking matter what's fine with you. None of that shit matters. This is something that these people enjoy. It has nothing to do with you, me, or anybody else who might have an opinion. Now, okay, that being said, I do have an opinion. And I do look at these people and think to myself, what the fuck is wrong with you? What went wrong in your life? And I could be completely off. I could be completely wrong. I could be approaching this too close-minded to the point where I'm missing something. But to me,
missing your own fetish.
There ain't no fetish is going to be fulfilled in that dungeon shit unless it's watching people make fools of themselves. I mean, I laughed audibly when you had a man on the ground and then he had I don't know, did he have a feather taped to his ass as a tail?
Oh, he's like focused. He was like a little dog. Yeah,
that made me when they taped something to his ass, I had to stop. I had to put it on pause and just started laughing my ass off because it was ridiculous. There is something not right about these people, and I know that's judgmental, and I know that closes you off from just understanding a foreign world, but I can't help it. To watch a grown man be treated like a little girl,
yeah,
there's a psychology to it that's fucking crazy.
You don't think that's fucking cool? I just think that we're all fucking perverts, and
we all have our perversions, yes.
But I mean, even the idea of calling it, I'm saying that for effect because I don't like necessarily think that people's kinks are fucking like, I don't view that as something like wrong. Again, as long as it is like with like amongst adults, consensually amongst adults. I just feel like the idea of like, oh, what went wrong with these people's lives? You just haven't gone deep into your own bullshit.
You don't think that there's something? You don't think there's something about a professional Jewish doctor who wants to reenact Holocaust fantasies? You don't think there's something like that?
First, let's no, because the thing is that this is like this is fucking psychology. This is fucking like dream logic. This is fetishes a lot of times in the same way. I mentioned this last time. When you have dreams, a lot of times you're having dreams that are about something that's on your mind.
Yeah.
They can also be something that's troubling you, right?
Sure.
Nick Bromfield himself talks about, he says that, this is his voiceover in it. He says that most fetishes are the eroticization of one's worst fears and nightmares. So it's kind of like, think of like David Lynch. He has this moment, he talks about it, I guess, in The Art Life, where he saw this, he and his friends were playing like outside at night or whatever. It was like maybe dusk or it had just turned dark. So like post magic hour, I guess, and this woman comes out into the street naked. But it was this idea of his mind, it was like a woman in trouble. And there was something like that just captured him. Now, that could have, for him, turned into something like sexually arousing. We don't know that, but it also, I mean, I'm sure to some level, yes, because it's like he made that into Isabella Rossellini. But it's also something that artistically, like, he would never be able to escape.
Yeah.
And he wanted to continue to play out that fantasy, so to speak, right? Because it's kind of like, I don't know if it was Mamet in one interview that I heard that said, like, this is what we do. We write our fantasies out. Like, this is a made up fantasy that we're turning into something real. So, I mean, like, movies are fantasies. They're not just, like, stories are like fantasies. Horror there's a mix between the erotic and the horrifying, and all these things are happening below the conscious level of the mind. And when you're doing the theater of this kind of subculture, you're acting that out. You're expressing that. You're working with it. It can be therapeutic, or it can be also like, definitely people can be acting out on their traumas. I'm sure you ask someone with whatever kind of fetish, you say, well, what kind of childhood do they like? It's pretty basic. It was pretty normal. I had both parents. I had fucking blah, blah, played baseball. I don't know why. I just liked,
just like getting my balls paddled on a yeah.
One woman was talking about, she liked when they would play, like, games. She would always turn it into where she was going to be the one that was tied up, because there was just something about it that, like, she got a thrill out of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that she was fucking, like, crazy abused when she was 4 years old. I mean, everyone's different. It could be something like that, but it also could just be that, who the fuck knows? You know what I mean? And
well,
so
it's just something in
like,
the hard wiring. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I just and I don't have so much of a problem with the dominatrixes in this movie, although they came off as bitchy and a little bit inhumane, and they didn't lower the masks. They didn't let you really in. There were a couple of moments where you started to see where the main mistress did get upset with Bromfield, but like, have you not been paying attention to what, the pain is only one part of it. The woman talking about the wrestling one who was who talked about being from a fundamentalist Christian background and how that affected it, but you never really get a sense of what brought them to this life and what the satisfaction was. And Bromfield doesn't dig deep enough for you to understand it more than the sadistic aspect of it. So, it's I think the film on that end is incomplete. Now, on the other people,
I agree with that.
Yeah. So now with the submissives and the slaves, that's for him to have achieved a better film would have been these people giving more insight into what it is that drove their fetishes. And I never got that. I never got that sense of, all he ever did was present what they enjoy.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, well, wait a minute, what, you got to explain this to me so at least I can empathize at the very least. And I can, empathize to the degree that I understand what's driving them and how this is, if they were to explain it in a way that this was an addiction that fulfilled something, the young woman in the white panties, which is the one I think you're referring to about allowing herself to be tied up when she was little.
Yeah,
that one made sense because you could sense the way she was talking about it. It was deep seated. It was something that went back a long way, and it was a discovery that she made about herself that she couldn't explain, but that she was willing to give herself over to. But you don't see that in the others, and you don't see it in the wilder ones. The guy who wants to be a dog, the black man who wants to be subjugated, and he wants to be a slave, an actual slave, to the degree that she puts him in a cage and this is you waiting to be transported.
He doesn't want to be an actual slave.
No, but you know what?
Because an actual slave isn't like saying, "Hey, I want to be an actual slave."
No, but okay, you're right there. You're right. He wants to be the symbolic slave in this situation to get beat and whatever their concept of what it is, this fantasy that they have about such a thing. The Jewish doctor. I don't remember them talking to these people about what it was that drove their kinks, their fetishes. And if Bromfield had done that, and who knows if maybe they didn't want to, maybe they didn't want to interview, or maybe or maybe what?
It didn't make the edit.
Maybe it didn't make the edit. Maybe Pandora's box, the rules that they had in there wouldn't allow them to go that deep into it. I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is, but it makes for a film that is incomplete as far as
I agree
depicting this world. Yeah.
But I want to go back to I want to go back to you, Rick. I want to go back to the idea of the thought that something went wrong with these people's lives in order for them to have these things. So it's like, is it, if someone likes to get tied up, for example, then okay, they're free. But if someone, like,
I can understand getting tied up. I can understand getting
daddy and they have missionary sex and they kiss each other on the mouth and that's what they do and that's it. They're okay. They're normal, so that's cool. Is doggy style cool? How far does it go between okay, this is normal, and then now something went wrong with your life?
Pain.
According to you.
According to me, pain. I mean, smacked around.
But you also see, but even before you answer, you see the ridiculousness of even the way I'm posing the questions, because it's kind of it's so arbitrary. Like how would you know? And you preface this by saying yourself, it doesn't fucking matter what any of us have judgments about, but of course you do have those judgments. So I'm also interested in the insight.
No, it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter. The judgment is immaterial. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna have my judgment because I'm a judgmental motherfucker who thinks shit is weird and I don't understand. But if you're gonna present something like this, I want to understand why. I want to understand the drive, even if it's something where it's like, even if it's something like a seemingly normal life where there's a freedom to this. There's a the pain. What does the pain make you feel like? Where do you go to? The closest you get to it is that woman in the white panties, and the mascara is running down her face, and she can barely talk because she's so overwhelmed orgasmically almost, I guess. I don't know if it was an orgasm, but to that degree where the emotion was so great, you got the sense there. I didn't understand it with any of the others. So yeah, I'm going to sit in judgment and I'm going to be like, Jesus, what a bunch of fucking morons and freaks. And, but this also equates to my attitudes concerning people who want to identify with victimhood. And I'll give you a quick story. I think we've talked about this in the past. I remember going to get my car worked on, and when you go into a garage or mechanic's place, they usually have a little waiting area with a shitload of old magazines, 2 or 3 years old. Where this particular mechanic had Esquire magazines from many years. And I'm going through one of them. I think we've talked about this, but there was an article about a club rich white couples.
Oh yeah,
I told you about this. Rich
I
white
think I read that
couples.
article too.
What's that?
If it wasn't that article, I read a similar one.
I think it's I think you know where I'm going. So, white couples, upper class, with money, professionals, lawyers, doctors, stockbrokers, financial advisors, people like that. People who have no worries in life when it concerns their money. Husbands and wives would go to these clubs, very private, where the husband would watch his wife be fucked by black men.
Yeah,
And specifically,
race play.
What's that?
Yeah, like some cocoa race play shit.
Yeah. And these were black men that had to audition to just be in this this club, because they had to have fucking huge cocks, huge porno style cocks. And these husbands, I would wonder, what is it that a man wants to watch his wife do that or have that done to her? What does it do for him? But also, how many of these women want that versus how many of these women are doing it because, you know, they'll give themselves over to whatever the marriage dictates.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it fascinating. And it goes back to my whole theory on white people. I was like, that's some white people shit. There's a weird level of white guilt from years of racism and colonialism and all the other isms that you can cite in this world, where there is this need to amend while at the same time maintaining their wealth and power on the outside. So I remember reading that and just laughing my ass off, because it really is just throwing wood onto a racism fire that I've been stoking for years. But there's kind of a description, and I would love to find the article again. I'd like to read it. I'd like to go back to it if I could find it. But at least there was what's that?
It's probably online somewhere.
Maybe, but I don't want to get flagged as I try to research that shit, and then all the spam that starts coming on my, you know. But then, like, yeah, but like this movie, all you see is the results. You don't see the road that gets you there. You don't, you know, these people aren't, they're not humanized. They're not, you know, you don't understand what the world is, and you're left to this device.
Then, like, is that going to, would that lead you to thinking that they're not, like, are you basically saying, like, I want to show me how you got here so I don't think you're a fucking freak, or else I already think you're a fucking weirdo and a freak and something's wrong with you?
My attitude is, if I'm watching this thing and I see that you're a freak, I want to understand what got you to be the freak that you are. I've already made my decision. You're a freak. There's something wrong with you. You ain't right. Help me understand what went wrong with you. And I know it's judgmental, and I know, but I'm sure there are things about me. I don't.
Well, yeah, because I could be like, who the fuck
am I? Yeah.
Has the need, no, beyond that, who the fuck has the need to get in front of other people in order to make them laugh so that they can get some kind of validation?
Oh, I can tell you that. You want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
No, wait, you freak, wait. Let me touch you. Then you can explain to me. So to stand up in front of all these people, to make them laugh, to get this validation, and a lot of those laughs come from like this humiliating, self-deprecating humor that just puts you in a place of victimhood. in front of all these people, including white people who are just going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you, Rick. That's horrible. What went wrong in your life that made you do that? Then you don't answer yet, but it's kind of like, well, I don't think anything went wrong with your fucking life in order for you to do that. I don't think you're a freak. I don't think that, you know, I'm not going to apply all that because I think what you said is bullshit in terms of like the judgmental stuff. In terms of the wanting to know about the origins, I completely am on board with that. And like the insight into these people as people, and to also hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Like, yeah, what, like, how do you, like, not how do they explain or justify, but how do you describe? You know what I mean? Like, for sure, I get that. I would love to hear that. But I just think the jumping to, oh, it's like it's such a simplification as to say like, oh, do you have mommy issues because you like big tits? Like, there's a mammalian Freudian thing there, but it's not that simple. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the cool thing about it, because and I don't want it to be that simple. I want it to be this weird convoluted thing that maybe you even find difficult in understanding, because that's going to make for an interesting story. You know what I mean? But also it's like
your judgments.
What's that?
I said I get that part, but I'm talking about specifically with your judgments. That's what
this is the thing, though. I got a lot of friends that are strange and have weird attitudes about this or that, or beliefs, or it doesn't affect whether or not I'm friends with them, but it does affect my view of, God damn, you're fucked up. It's just my opinion on, oh, that's, you're a little bit fucked up. There's something.
Is it just because you consider yourself to be like this vanilla person that you?
No, it's not because I consider myself a vanilla person, although I do consider that. But there are. I'm aware of enough to know how fucked up I am, but in different aspects of, not sexually, but like
No, of course.
No, my sexual problems are way different. They're way fucking different. It's more of a fear than anything. But where I'm fucked up is irrational anger, hatred. I create these scenarios in my head where somebody pisses me off, and I imagine the fight that's going to incur, and it never does, and it really disappoints me that we don't have that out. There's something wrong with me.
There's so much cool shit that you could have said, like.
Yeah.
Or it's like when people get into arguments and then they're thinking about it later and they're like, fuck, I wish I would have said this.
I wish I'd want that fight. And I also know that there's an element, I'm fucked up because I've seen so many fucking movies that I want to create these own movies out of my life on a weird level. Like, my mom has said it to me. It was like, you live in a world, you live in a movie that you're writing and directing and acting in, and I don't know what the fuck is going on with you. She's told me that.
You should do like little like indie porn films.
Maybe that would help. I don't know. I just but the thing is, like, I judge these people. Look, I think we all judge people based on our standards. So yeah. But it wouldn't necessarily stop me from being friends with the person. I would just be like, you do that?
Like,
holy fuck.
I have my friends.
No, I have friends that go to hookers, is what I'm saying. I have friends that are into weird shit, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, that's not that weird.
And it's not. But there's also things that, like, I have friends that cheat on their wives.
Again,
I don't agree. No, it is
right,
bad. I don't agree with it.
Out there,
No, it's not out there, but it says something about your character.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Different. Yes, but the thing, but this is the thing is like, You're equating someone who fucking cheats on their wife with someone who has some kind of like whatever fetish, and to me, it's like those are two things are not the same.
They're not
And
the same in the realm of what they do to other people and what they do to a relationship. What I'm saying is I don't understand either of them. Like for me, if you cheat on your wife, I don't understand why you got married. I don't understand why you're with this bitch if you don't want to be with her. Don't get me wrong. I understand the attraction that you might have to somebody else. I understand wanting to fuck somebody else. I don't understand why you would go out of your way, why you would act on something that's going to hurt somebody that you supposedly love. That I don't understand.
yeah,
Okay, so it is likewise. I don't understand why you would like to have your balls tied up with a rope attached to your fucking throat, and I don't get that. It doesn't make it.
I swear. That's all I'm gonna say.
Look,
No,
okay,
I mean,
yeah.
Look, I don't get that either. I believe it or not, I don't get that either. But I just personally don't think that like something happened to that person in their life that fucked them up like that. And it very could be well that it's like you ask that person and they're like, well, I had this accident, whatever, right? Or it could just be nothing. I just I don't know why.
I mean, I understand that as well. But I also think that there is a psychological, what is in us psychologically that drives us to the things that we're attracted to. You brought up the stand-up thing. I'll tell you exactly what the stand-up thing is. It's any comic that's worth a fuck, or at least the ones that I think are worth a fuck, who is actually funny. Incredibly high self-respect, incredibly low self-esteem.
You've said that before. Oh no, I think you probably explained it before, but do it again. So
what I mean is, okay, so high self-respect means I'll tell you to go fuck yourself in a second if I find that you disrespect me in any way. If you I don't give a fuck who you are, and that's why the job is hard for me now, because I have to swallow a lot of pride, and I can't motherfuck people the way that I used to. I can't tell somebody to get fucked. I can't tell my boss that he's a fucking pervert and he's a scumbag. I can't do that shit like I did.
Fucking sexual ass language about work.
Yeah.
You're like, I have to fucking swallow my pride.
I do. I just
I can't motherfuck. And I can't tell them you're a pervert, boss.
You know me fucking how many years now? 17 years now.
You have work fetish. You're all about, what is that movie, that Paul Schrader movie, Blue Collar?
Blue Collar, yeah.
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 You got to work fetish.
I got to work. I have an issue with authority, people telling me what to do. I just had a review the other day, and my soup was telling me, well, I was asking him about what was being said about me, like there needs to be more urgency and a little bit more smiling. And I was like, well, wait a minute, is this a bad review? And he was like, no, it's a good review. And I was like, so what's the issue with what I do? And he was like, well, the thing is, you can be kind of blunt. You can be blunt. And then he said, I get that. You're like me. You don't take bullshit. I'm sitting there going, you're a fucking soup. You're a fucking scumbag soup. You sold your soul to this fucking place. Don't equate. It was everything that I could do to keep from telling him what a piece of shit I thought he was.
Yeah.
I was like, don't fucking compare yourself to me. I'm a grunt. I'm on the floor. I'm doing my job. I'm not compromising who I am more than eating my words every fucking day. And that's the self-respect. Whereas I would have told him to go fuck himself, and I would have been on to the next job. Meanwhile, low self-esteem, where it's like, please, as far as the comedy is concerned, please laugh. please validate what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking right now by laughing. I remember going out with a buddy of mine. We were on the road and we were doing a radio segment because we were playing some shithole town in Louisiana. And my they asked the standard questions of stand-ups, like, why do you do it? What is it? And my buddy said, if I can make somebody's day a little bit happier because I know how hard the job is and what it takes out of you. And I'm just sitting in the back of my head going, what a crock of shit.
Yeah.
Crock of shit.
That's an answer where you want someone to go like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh God, really? You're that good a guy, huh? You're doing it for you want to help people." I was like, no, I do it because in that moment I feel like I'm doing, number one, I'm doing something that so few people in this world can do. I'm on that stage, the light's on me, I'm speaking into a mic with the fucked up aspects of my life, my beliefs, everything that is a complete turnoff in every other aspect of life. You're putting it on stage and talking about it, and you're getting people to laugh. And the laugh is the control that I have over that group. Now, the next movie that we're going to talk about, we're going to go further into that. But the laugh, I own that. I own you at that moment. You're laughing because laughter is it's an involuntary reaction.
Yeah.
You have no control over whether or not. Yeah. You'll laugh and you'll be like, shit, I can't believe I laughed at that bullshit.
Yeah, you're an exhibitionist with a factory fetish.
There you go. But that's the thing. It's like, and it's like, when I watch this, I wonder, it doesn't have to be an incident that drove that. Because I never had an incident that drove me to do stand-up. It's my own insecurities. I want to know what is the power dynamic? Why do you feel the need to give up? What is it about the pain that fulfills you? I don't understand it. And this movie doesn't help me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. Yeah. So this whole movie's spectacle more than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, that's from that perspective, then it's kind of like the same reasons why I criticize or we criticize like the Odyssey or whatever the fuck. Like it just becomes whereas it could have been something, and I get that. Yeah, I completely get it. Like the sense of when someone gives someone else their power.
Yeah.
But even when someone does that, there's an element to give someone your power in that sense on purpose is also an act of power.
Yeah.
Because they're saying like, I want you to do this to me, whatever it is. Or even if it's like, you fill in the blanks, but I want you to fill in those blanks because I want you to fill in those blanks. And I want you to dominate me.
Yeah.
But I'm giving you this. So it's way more complicated than just, you talked about this, it's kind of like what Nick Bromfield said, but you talked about it, I think for Dogs Don't Wear Pants, we were just kind of like, most people just think of it's like, oh, well, why pay someone to get the shit kicked out of you or someone to beat your ass? Like when people say, well, pay me, I could beat your ass or whatever kind of thing. It's, there are so many shades to it, and it's so dynamic and so fascinating.
Yeah.
And again, the next episode, especially when it gets into like elements of pain and like really pushing the body and stuff like that. Like it's that's not something that relate to. I don't relate to. I don't think I have a high tolerance for pain. I don't really. I'm not really a person who's like. I'm not even really like. Although I've done physical things and I've been very active in different parts of my life or whatever. Like, I'm not really I'm more of a cerebral type of person, so I'm not really like. A lot of times it's almost as if I'm not even in my body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm in my fucking head, you know? And so to me it's interesting because it's kind of like there's the idea of people who are really, really pushing their bodies in performance or in whether it's after sexual experience or whatever. But even also like the idea of what is by our different cultures, like what's considered okay when it comes to that, or what's like legitimate. If someone's like really pushing their body in the gym, then that's something that's admired because it's and a lot of it is the same, like the discipline, these things that could be applied to like fetish. You know what I mean? Like discipline, like mortification to a degree too, because like the things that you're basically tearing your muscle fibers so you'll grow them, you know, and like all this crazy shit. But like people will look at Arnold Schwarzenegger and say like that. You could also say that that's a monstrosity.
Yeah, you can.
If you were to just do a blank judgment or whatever, or Lou Ferrigno or any of these people like that, and say like, no, but that's discipline and self-domination and blah 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 and empowerment. But Bob Flanagan, and we'll get into that. Is that's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be missing the forest for the trees on that one. I gotta say, so, I really would. I enjoyed watching this, but I don't feel like I understand it any better.
Right.
I don't understand that world any better. So ultimately, as a documentary, I feel like it's a failure because I'm just seeing that world without understanding it any better. You know,
I just see it as I'm not that extreme to it. I mean, I'm extreme in other ways, but I'm not like you're very like does it live or does it die? I vote executor. It failed. I'm like it's an appetizer. Yeah. Like it's not gonna fill me up. It's not gonna fucking like. If anything, it just makes me hungrier for like more.
Mm-hmm.
So it is that kind of like. All right, well, we'll give you a taste. But if you want to see those dungeons, if you want to see those rooms, you want to see the. And my favorite part about it was actually the socio-political fetishes where you touched on, where it's like Nick Bromfield talks about. He says some black clients are into plantation scenarios. Some, several Jewish clients were into concentration camp scenarios. So yes, this man he's wearing a mask, and that same French lady is like interviewing him and screening him or whatever, and he's just very like chill about it. And she's like, "Are you Jewish?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm part Jewish." Blah blah blah. And she's like, "Okay." And she asks him like, "Okay, is Jew boy enough?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." But she can tell that it's like it's not enough, So she's like, or something more like you watching fucking Jew. Is that good? Is that better? and he's just like kind of like yeah, like because it's about the taboo. You know what I mean? It's about playing with those fucking taboos, and if it could be easily explained and just that was it, then it wouldn't even be as fascinating and as engrossing and as like obsession driven or whatever call it to these people, or to those of us who are like looking at it from the outside and going like, this is fucking, whether you think it's fucking disgusting or whatever the fuck, or just like fascinating. Like, I think it's fascinating.
Well, I think it's fascinating, but I think it's also I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? There is a part of it just I can't help it. I just
self-described vanilla, and I'm just kind of like, put some fucking toppings on that.
Yeah.
But
there's an absurdity, and when I see a man with a collar and a leash, and he's got a feather or whatever the fuck it is taped to his ass, I'm not expecting that. I'm gonna laugh. I had a good laugh. I felt it was worth it just to see that. That fucking, what was it? Was it a feather? Was that what it was?
I don't know if it was a feather or it was a.
It was a like stick of some sort, wasn't it?
A branch or something like that. Yeah.
But that's his tail. And she had him wag his tail, and she had him bark, no growl, and she didn't like the way he growled. That shit was killing me. I'm just like, wow, okay, but you know, not to be too dismissive, although I know it'll read that way. I gotta say, I'm thankful that I'm just a regular vanilla guy that doesn't like weird, crazy shit. I don't know. That shit's weird to me.
It's like, damn, I wish my shit was a little bit like spicier.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't, no, not even at all.
No, not really. No. I can't think of anything that I would really like to do that I don't know, because I'm looking at the comic. I'm looking at the comic perspective of it, and everything. When you look at it from a comic perspective, you just see the weirdness and absurdity of it, and you're just like, oh God, no, just no.
All right, well,
but I also
a randomized porn generator and see if you like what pops up, and just keep doing it until you like it.
Well, but here's the thing, though. Between the two of us, I've been in a dungeon.
Wait, what?
I've been in a dungeon.
Oh, but well, yeah. It's just two of us. No one's fucking listening to this. It's actually three of us because we have one listener.
Yeah.
You've been okay. Well,
I was. This is about 20 years ago. I was on this shitty road tour from LA to Florida, and we were in Louisiana, and this comic that was headlining, he had this idea that he wanted to do. This is when MySpace was around. He wanted to do he wanted to shoot footage on the road and do a MySpace thing that he wanted to sell, where he was like making friends with his MySpace friends. Basically the concept of what he did, and we were going to meet people and, you know, hang out with them and see what their life was like across the country while we did shows. And we met these people in Louisiana, and we got invited to their house. They cooked for us, but they were a dominatrix couple. What's that?
Well, this is fucking this is scary to me. Just like, oh, we're on a road trip to Florida.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was scary to me too, but it's like you're 20.
We're a fucking night, and we meet this couple, and they invite us home for dinner. And I'm like, you just got fucking captured by a racist fucking cannibal couple,
brother. It's like you're 30 years old, and I'm on the road, and I got no choice but to engage in this shit because I'm the cameraman for this thing, and we end up in this house, and
the fucking bayou has eyes.
Oh, it's fucking crazy. And it's crazy because they had kids. They had kids that were all like, I think one of the kids was 5 and the other one was 7, and the kids are up playing in the yard. Meanwhile, we're down in the basement, which is remodeled like a dungeon. They got this cross that's like the X-Men kind of thing. And they were like, which one of you guys wants to get strapped on, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. I ain't doing that shit.
Yeah.
But the comic, the headlining comic, his cousin, he had a little bit of a freak streak in him, and he took off his clothes. He got down to his underwear, and they strapped him to the cross.
Uh-huh.
And she started just hitting him with the cat of nine tails, I guess it was. And he laughed at her. He said something stupid like, that ain't shit. As she pulled back and she hit him. And he screamed. And the rest of us just started laughing our asses off. But it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm fascinated that this shit exists.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish I wasn't here. But I'm here. Let's see how this fucking thing plays out. And I'm like you. I'm thinking, what's that?
Then you said, let's see if Burt Reynolds comes and saves me.
I don't know what was going to happen. I was freaking out. Yeah. I needed that bow and arrow. I was hoping somebody was aiming at that point, but it was weird. It was the weirdest shit that I've ever seen, that I was personally involved in. And, the thing that fascinated me was they were perfectly nice people, really sweet, just nice people. We were laughing and having a good time before this. And afterwards, we went back to having a good time. And it was, there's a part of me that wants to know how they get there. You know, this is a married couple in Louisiana. They got kids running around upstairs in their yard, and we're downstairs whipping some 19-year-old kid with a cat of nine tails. And she was in full she went and got into full dominatrix gear. She was a chubby lady too. She was a short, chubby lady. She wasn't sexy.
I mean, it depends on your outlook.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've been in one of those places, and it was disturbing. It was strange. I never want to go into one of those again, but it was something that I was like, okay, well, you've seen that. I've been in, you know, and you know what? I hadn't thought about it in years until I watched this fucking movie.
See there?
Yeah.
You got something out of it.
Yeah,
we all got to hear that fucking stuff.
I repressed it. I remember the feature comic freaked out and ran. I can't take this. I can't take this. And he ran out of there.
And then there's another comic friend that you know that's like more into this, right?
Yes. Yeah. I have a friend who's and he tells me about it, and he's the dominator, and it's weird because I hear the stories, and it just seems to me like a lot of degrading. Well, I've told you some of the things, and I don't know if you would agree with me. It just, I guess, between consenting adults, it is what it is, but it just seems to me like I don't know if I could. I don't know that I would want to degrade somebody in the manner in which he degrades these women that he's with. Mm-hmm. But it's part of that. It's part of that world. There are contracts, and everybody signs this and that, and it's just like, wow. I don't know what to think about it. I'm too vanilla for it. Yeah.
Hey, vanilla is somebody else's fetish too, I guess, you know?
Apparently. Anyway, there we go.
Yeah. It's fetishes, Nick Bromfield, like you said, there's a salaciousness to it. He's got Eileen Wuornos. She's the female serial killer that Monster film is based on. He's got two docs on her. He's got Heidi Fleiss. He's got the Kurt and Courtney documentary. He's got Biggie and Tupac. He has other ones. This one, somewhat, it's in the shallow end.
Yeah.
But it is that walkthrough. It is Nick Bromfield taking you down, and while not strapping you to the fucking cross, he invites you to watch how someone else gets it. Till next time, this episode goes to Mr. Lambert. We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, and other platforms. If you like our shit and you want to pay tribute to us in this power exchange, whoever happens to be in power, you can reach us at buymeacopy.com/watch RickRamos. That's buymeacopy.com/watch RickRamos. Goodbye.